forgotten.
How can I...
Hey there.
Take your time. It's a deal. Keep your eyes shut.
Lucan's grace, what is that smell? Vile creature! have no space for that.
Quickly.
Don't eat anything colorful. Yes? Anything catch your eye? My tribe could use that. See you.
Should I do this? This one's only level 9, this one's level 10. So that's the problem. It's like this one I should just get rid of now. But it's got increased spell damage, increased cast speed. Like it's good, but it's just not as good as this. Well, technically it's actually the same as this, because it gives +1. Oh, sorry, I don't even have a... What do I do? Alchemy, 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 alchemy. No. Okay. Okay. Oh, and it's got 3 slots. Okay. Will I do I have a chance to ignite? I do have a chance to ignite, so that could be useful. But I still have to kill it. I could make it ignite, just 100% chance to ignite. I'm not sure how much that does, but... I don't get why. Yeah, I don't care about that. I don't know why freezing shark, it doesn't show me all the support gems that could fit in a thing. It just goes like, oh, support gems, the ones that you can get from tier 1 are Chain, Glaciation, Frost Nexus, and then you can't do anything else. But I obviously can do other things, like Arcane Tempo is not there, and Unleash is not there, but I could put those 2 in. I just wish it showed me all the gems that I could use on it. Like this, Echo, Spell Echo. Like, I don't think so, right? And I'm already using it, but... like, Rising Tempest is probably good. Which is a deal just flat more damage. I don't know what I'm currently using. Yeah, 100 chance to ignite. Yeah, that could be good. So like this is good. Support skills gain 20% increased critical hit chance each second up to 100%. This critical hit chance is lost whenever a skill is supported by the inevitable critically hits. So I just basically go up to 100 and then down. But if I have like a base high amount, then it's not really. But it's just a bonus, right? It loses this bonus. Supporters critically hit chance is lost. This critically hit chance. Weapon elemental damage. I don't know if this helps me. Suppose I could use a weapon. I don't think this counts. So I think it would be between like Rising Tempest and Inevitable Critical. Do I have anything right now that gives me... Increase cast speed if you've dealt a critical hit recently. Yeah. That's the next tree I'm going through, I think. Yeah, like this good. This one's good too. So I think Inevitable Critical is really good, but Like, Pierce is good, but it's not increasing my attack speed. Well, that's not my damage. Like, it's good for, like, a last pick. I think I'm gonna go with inevitable crit, and then I build into the crit stuff. Because I don't really care about cast speed on anything else except for this, and this will increase my cast speed by critting, inevitably. Let's just see if Pierce for now is better. Because I can't really, I don't get the extra boost from critting. Right now anyways. Let's just do this. I'll do this for now. Well, no, it's still critically. I deal double damage to crit, right? We'll see. I'll get both. Sorry. Did I reset the instance? What the fuck happened? I did. Okay. Where's the Temple of Kopek? Oh, I know. Never mind. I'm an idiot. It's the door you have to open.
Die, scum!
Yeah, this shit does so much more damage now. Fuck the increased spell level when I can just deal. I could Valor it, am I right? Because the inevitable crit thing is good. Oh no, but it's every second, so it doesn't really matter how fast I attack. Although it's increasingly scaling until I crit. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it's just like a luck factor thing. I'm dealing really good damage. Like, see, there's crit. It's just like a luck. I don't know, confirmer. I mean, it makes it inevitable, right? That I will eventually crit, which will help my attack speed eventually. But this is doing a lot more damage. I don't understand why people can't. Like, am I crazy? Providing third ascendancy carry for free in Trial of Chaos. Only want soul cores loot at the end. Plus level 70 plus PME. I mean, I guess like that guy's just like doing it for soul cores, but I don't understand why people just can't like. Is it like that hard to do third ascendancy? I don't understand. And also, like, I don't know. To me, it's like if you can't do third ascendancy, I haven't tried third ascendancy, but like something needs to change about your class. No, like I don't think. I could be wrong. Maybe third ascendancy is when things like that's when shit hits the fan. But it feels like third ascendancy is like easy. Or maybe third ascendancy is like a bad example. Really, I should be looking at like anyone who asks for help. Okay, as I die. Really, I should be just looking at. I hate this map. Really, I should just be looking at people who. My real complaint is with people who will say like, you know, need help with Act 3 boss or Act 2 boss. It's like, well, it's like, okay, are you in Cruel? I would hope that you're in Cruel, but even then, like, I don't know. Like, well, I guess we'll wait and see. Like, maybe those things are much harder in Cruel difficulty. But if I feel like if you're asking for help on those bosses, like I don't know what you're gonna do in the end game. But at the same time, I guess also people say that sometimes people's builds don't really pop off until end game. So maybe you do need help if you don't have leveling gear. Because I see a lot of videos that people have like specific leveling gear. If you don't have that specific leveling gear, then maybe it's hard to get your certain class to like that high. So you just ask for help on people that like help you beat bosses and shit like that. But I'm not sure. Oh, that's not really fun.
I'm carrying enough already.
Will of the Marrakesh. I have no space for that.
I do. Oh, what the fuck? Oh no, wait, what? Oh, I forgot to get rid of this one. It's my old one. Okay. Oh, I have to level. Oh, true. Level up. Hold on. Level up. Is there anything I wanted to do specifically? No, I think I want to go to this. Because I need this. Since I have the inevitable crit thing now, I want to get to this as quickly as possible.
I'm carrying enough already.
Okay, hold on.
Greeting.
Here to help. Take your time. My tribe could use. It's a deal.
can I help? Good luck.
Those suck.
How can I help? Until next time.
Oh shit. Mm.
How can I
Welcome. See you.
Okay, and then once I get more, spirit is just like an ever, an ever evolving thing that I will never truly have access to. Where are those? Wait, what the fuck? Where did that go? Oh, here. Okay. We're back.
Mortalities from infectious disease. We need to get a handle on it. Because if we don't, this next potential threat, our country is not going to be destroyed because we get the marginal tax rate wrong. Because we get one of these cultural issues that we've been talking about. It's going to be destroyed if we continue down this economy. We need to fix our food supply, and that's the number one.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Should I share on the bulk of processed foods? The other end of this food chain on my phone. Would you just take a second and share?
Ugh, I found it.
That's it.
Treasure. I suppose I can investigate. More Val machinery. I have no space for that.
Oh, I have food. Haha. Ha. Oh.
still alive. Bye-bye.
Hey there.
Anything catch your eye? My tribe could use that. See you. Farewell.
Okay, we're gonna do some racting while I eat my food. It's just gonna be politics stuff, but I don't care. Fuck it.
In that science.
It's
Would
RFK.
a measure of humility and, as you say, radical certainty in that science.
Confirmation hearing, which I think is unfortunately almost over, but
humility
we'll see.
And, as you say, radical transparency demonstrates humility. Help rebuild trust over a period of years?
Absolutely. We need to tell Americans what we don't know. We need to make sure studies that reach a null hypothesis are also
I want to go to the
published.
gym at like 3-ish,
And that
but
doesn't
there's an
happen.
actual blizzard outside.
Sir, I think you are right about why healthcare costs are
So,
so high in the
I don't know
first
how I
place.
get
The
on the roads
answer
if
is
it's like
indeed
that big,
chronic
but-
disease. 90% of our healthcare spending goes towards managing it, as you say in your open statement. It's not in the main because of waste, fraud, and abuse, although we know some exist. It's not in the main because we have greedy executives at innovative, world-class companies. It's not in the main because we haven't yet adopted an unsustainable Medicare for All scheme. It's because of this. So I'm encouraged that you intend to make that a point of emphasis as it pertains to your future leadership. I will say, with respect to COVID, it's not over for a lot of Americans. It's not over. I know the mission accomplished banner was convenient for the last administration, but as we continue to navigate the ongoing impacts of the COVID pandemic, we have many individuals here in the United States and around the world who are suffering from long-term health effects that significantly impact their quality of life, work, and daily activities, and they've been largely ignored.
Don't fucking say
Funding
vaccine.
for long
Don't do
COVID
it.
research
Okay.
was appropriated by Congress in December of 2020, followed by additional funding directed by the Biden administration in February 2024. Patient groups and industry publications have criticized the slow pace of clinical trial design and enrollment. If confirmed, will you collaborate with healthcare providers, researchers, and effective communities to better understand and mitigate long COVID's impact? Yes or no, please?
Absolutely, Senator. There's 16 million Americans.
Will you commit to prioritizing long COVID research and integrate this work into broader healthcare policies? Yes or no, please?
Yes.
It's not incredibly.
Patient groups, experts, and industry publications have raised concerns around existing long COVID funding being spent on observational research. In particular, criticism was directed towards recover funding being used to duplicate existing findings instead of funding trials for potential treatments or diagnostics. If confirmed, Mr. Kennedy, will you work with Congress so that going forward, long COVID funding will be directed primarily towards trial or novel research directions and not replicating existing observational research? Yes or no?
Absolutely, Senator, with enthusiasm.
Thank you so much. If confirmed, how will you create a balance between your personal priorities of chronic disease and healthy lifestyle and the ongoing critical work of the department in areas that are focused on incentivizing and advancing innovation in modern medicine and pharmaceutical discovery?
I think innovation is going to be the key to public health. And we have a unique opportunity now in history because of AI, because of telemedicine. And because of the quality of people that are now coming to HHS, to actually save public health, but it's all going to rely on innovation, and I don't want to do anything that inhibits or impairs the pace of innovation.
That's encouraging. From approving AI algorithms to determining Medicare coverage, we certainly need more innovation, and we need good people in the department to assist with that effort. So I'll follow up with a question about how you're going to attract and retain good people. Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry to shut you down a little faster than I did the others, Senator. We are up against a vote deadline here, and we have one more senator who gets his full time. I hope you'll keep it as close to 5 minutes as you can, Senator Welch.
Well,
and then I've promised Senator Wyden, 5 more minutes?
To be divided 1 minute with my colleagues getting 1 minute.
And then if we can do that, we can get over to vote before they call the vote on the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. And as you know, I'm a big, have great reverence for your family from Massachusetts. When I got out of college, I was in the first class of Robert Kennedy Fellows, the memorial created by your family to honor the service of your father. I do community organizing in the west side of Chicago. And I certainly admire your energy in your effort here and desire to serve. You know, there's a couple of things that are really important here. This is not just about a debate on vaccines. It's a debate about the qualifications, experience, and priorities as to the person that will head Health and Human Services. And it's not just about what your answers are today or what the questions are. It obviously has a lot to do with your whole record and your whole history. You know, your sister in her letter, or pardon me, your cousin in her letter said, you've always been charismatic, able to attract others through the strength of your personality, willingness to take risk and break rules. That's, I guess, an attribute, but it can be a danger. The question I fundamentally have is whether your willingness to disrupt and maybe break rules is going to be dangerous and destructive. The character questions we didn't go into here, but there's some sketchy things you've acknowledged, your history with heroin, you've gotten over that, but there's incidents that do, I think, concern the question of whether the stability is there to be in charge of this major organization. And that's compounded by my concern that you don't have any experience managing a large organization, that you don't have any experience in government. So those are things that have to be taken into account. But the issue for me is also priorities. A lot of your engagement in health has been on vaccines, big important issue. You actually disagreed, as I understand it, with President Trump about Operation Warp Speed. I think President Trump deserves a lot of credit for Operation Warp Speed. He knew we had to get a vaccine. And these other issues about a mask and whether you should wear it, whether when you got your groceries, the bag had to be left outside, remember that in the very beginning? Those are incidental to the core question that the president believed we had to have a vaccine. And you contested that. That worries me. That really deeply worries me. The other questions, Senator Cassidy asked you some questions about our healthcare system. I happen to believe that our healthcare system is profoundly broken. And it's not just about the chronic illnesses. That's about our diet, that's about our exercise. But we are getting premium increases in Vermont of 20% a year, 25% a year. And it's busting the bank for taxpayers, it's busting the bank for our wonderful Vermont employers who care about having health insurance that they can provide to their employees. Senator Cassidy asked you a couple of questions about how you would reform Medicaid, and I didn't hear an answer. You mentioned that you thought Medicare Advantage was good. You have a good plan.
I know what must be done.
No focus on what an incredible ripoff was reported in the Wall Street Journal by United Healthcare, which was marketing Medicare Advantage and then paying doctors and nurses where they had assignments essentially to diagnose illnesses that didn't exist. So they made billions and billions of dollars. And I've seen nothing coming out of the Trump administration, and I've seen nothing coming out of your advocacy that is going after what is a rampant abuse by the insurance companies and overcharging people and not doing the job. And by the way, the United Healthcare people, when they did that, they overdiagnosed. When the person really got sick, they dumped them. They dumped them. Go to the nursing home on your own. That's a broken healthcare system. We spend the most and get the least. And I think there should be collective anger about this on both sides, because all of our people are dependent on that healthcare system. And you're going to be working for a president who's on a lawless rampage right now, okay? He has done something reckless with the pardons to these cop beaters. I'm appalled by that. But that's just reckless. That's not illegal. He's impounded money. So right now, the Medicaid website went down. He's impounded money. So the community health centers that Senator Warner was talking about are up in the air as to what they can do. Do you believe that a president can impound money that has been appropriated by Congress?
Senator, let me answer the question about Medicare first. I have never defended that program or the rapacious behavior by insurance companies or the PBMs. I understand that's a huge problem. And
all right, I don't have time. We've got to get over to vote. So we can do this.
But you've asked me 5 questions. You got to give me a chance to answer one of them.
Please be brief.
Yeah, I brought in, if I get confirmed, I've already appointed a general counsel. It's the first time in history he's a former prosecutor who prosecuted the biggest Medicare fraud in the case in the state of West Virginia. I brought in a prosecutor for that job instead of a bureaucrat, precisely to address the important issues that you raised here. The only reason I didn't talk about these before is because I wasn't asked about them.
What about,
I agree with you 100%.
Right, what about impounding, a president impounding money that, among other things, goes to health care?
And you're saying that that's illegal?
That's correct.
Well, my job is to uphold the Constitution. I'm going to take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and I will administer the law and uphold the Constitution.
Mr. Chairman, I believe under what we've discussed, I control 5 minutes. I'm going to take 1 and give 1 to each of my 4 colleagues that remain.
All right, and I would just say this vote, they're going to call it in about 8 minutes.
Thank you.
So we have very little time.
2 hours ago, colleagues, I asked Mr. Kennedy to reconcile his many anti-vaccine statements with his handful of pro-vaccine statements. Instead, he gave us a word salad and ducked the issue. The same was true, Mr. Kennedy, with respect to measles, where you wrote a book playing down the threat of measles, even though American families are very concerned about it, and apparently families are still mourning in Samoa. And my last point would be that Mr. Kennedy said today really wasn't about him. And I just want to tell him it is all about you, because I find your presentation to be both untrustworthy and unprepared, because my colleagues have been seeing back and forth between Medicare and Medicaid, and it's not clear which program you're using when. So I want colleagues to know there is a lot more information to learn about Mr. Kennedy before we vote. I'm going to urge that to my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to not make decisions on the basis of this session. I thank you for the additional time. And I guess my next minute is Senator Whitehouse, Senator Warren, and Senator Smith.
And again, 1 minute each, please.
There's
been a lot of conversation about late-term abortions here, and I just want to make clear what Rhode Island OBGYN doctors describe as what is almost always happening when a late-term abortion is needed. It is a childbirth gone wrong. The family has painted the room, it has bought the crib, maybe even decided on the baby's name, and has gone to the hospital to welcome the new baby into their family in what is supposed to be a happy event.
Thank you, thank you.
And then things went wrong. Then the alarms started pinging. The lights started flashing. The medical professionals started rushing in. And the question became, who lives and who dies? The mom's life is often at risk, and she may have other children she needs to care for. The baby's life may be at risk, and one or both may die. In that environment, the doctors and the family own that decision. Government has no place in that room at that point. And I think we need to understand when this late-term abortion gets bandied about, what you're dealing with is a tragedy that is happening to a family.
I heard some good shit over the radio waves.
And have suddenly been confronted with a moment in which they have to make what is probably going to be the worst decision of their lives.
Wait, hold on. Give me one thing. Give me one thing. Hold on. Give me one thing. Give me this. Yeah? Come on. You know. It's pretty close. Look. Oh, it looks way different here. Come on. You know it's true. Come on. Anyways.
And to try to shove the state legislature into that room is really offensive, really morally wrong. And I just want to make very clear what Rhode Island OBGYNs tell me is the situation when these procedures have to be deployed.
Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Kennedy, I wanted to ask about your role in the 2019 measles outbreak in Samoa. In July 2018, 2 children died immediately after receiving a measles vaccine that nurses had mistakenly mixed with a muscle relaxant. The nurses get charged with manslaughter, but vaccination rates go down. I asked you about this in my office. You told me flatly that your visit to Samoa had nothing to do with vaccinations. We now know that's not true. I have the documentation. You met with the Prime Minister. You talked about vaccinations. You met with an anti-vaccine influencer who described the meeting as, quote, profoundly monumental for this movement. So what happens? Vaccinations go down, there's a measles outbreak, and children start dying. But you double down. You didn't give up. Just 4 days after the Prime Minister declared a state of emergency, 16 people already dead, you sent a letter to him promoting the idea that the children had died not from measles, but from, quote, defective vaccine. You launched the idea that a measles vaccine caused these deaths. You are a very influential man. In fact, you are called the leader of the Disinformation Dozen. UNICEF and WHO, the World Health Organization, investigated this. They say the claims are false. It is not biologically possible what you claimed. And yet, ultimately, more than 70 people died because they didn't get vaccines. So my question is, do you accept even a scintilla, just even a sliver of responsibility for the drop in vaccinations and the subsequent deaths of more than 70 people? Anything you do differently?
No, absolutely not.
There it is.
After there were 2 incidents in which children died. In 2015 and again in 2008. 2015, it was from the measles vaccine. That's what the New Zealand General Hospital found. The government of Samoa banned the measles vaccine after the 2018. I arrived in July of the next year after the ban had been in place for a year.
Mr.
And
Chairman,
the measles.
understanding that you wanted to hold this to a minute and that I don't get to present all the facts and documentation I've got, how about if we just decide to make entries for the record on exactly what the record shows about Mr. Kennedy's participation? And I think he's answered the yes or no question. He takes no responsibility.
Senator Warren, we
to
will do that. And Mr. Kennedy, and to all the senators, every senator knows that following this hearing, they will be able to ask you questions off the record, and you will be able to put answers back onto the record. So please give that answer. I apologize that we're shutting you off for giving a full response right now. Senator Smith, and we are way over time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Kennedy, you have said that you want to give infectious diseases a break for about 8 years. You spoke about this with Senator Cantwell. My question to you has to do with avian flu. Over 100 million birds culled. The disease has spread to dairy cows, and there are now 67 confirmed human cases and 1 death. So, Mr. Kennedy, do you intend to give research on bird flu a break?
No, I intend to devote the appropriate resources to preventing pandemics. That's an essential part of my job.
What do you think is causing the avian influenza?
I think the H5N1 virus is.
So that's good to hear, because in a recent book, I will submit this for the record because we don't have that much time, Mr. Kennedy has questioned the scientific basis for germs causing disease and the power of vaccines and antibiotics.
I've never questioned that, Senator.
Well, I will submit that for the record.
Thank you. Senator Warnock, 1 minute.
I like the way you said that to the Baptist preacher. Thank you so much, Mr. Kennedy. Based on our conversations, it's my understanding that you support work requirements in Medicaid. In 2020, President Trump approved a proposal from Georgia state leaders requiring Georgians to jump through a number of onerous bureaucratic hoops and fill out even more paperwork to verify work and get access to health care. I ask this as someone who represents a state that has not expanded Medicaid. Federal government, because of this waiver, spent $70 million on Georgia's Medicaid waiver. 82% of that went to administrative costs. The point that I'm making is that the folks that they're insisting need to work, 90% of those folks are working, they are caregivers, or they have a disability. Let me give you one example. A woman I think of all the time, her name is Heather. She's a traveling nurse from Dalton, Georgia, who falls into the Medicaid coverage gap. Heather experienced a series of small strokes, leaving her unable to work full-time. She's dedicated her life to caring for patients, but now she can't afford her own medical care, out-of-pocket costs, because she doesn't make enough to qualify for tax credits to buy private insurance. What does Heather need? Does she need work requirements, or does she need access to health care so she can finally get healthy and get back to work?
The individual that you described would need health care and not a work requirement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we are done with the questioning now. Mr. Kennedy, I apologize to you, to the audience, and to all of my colleagues to have to rush it here at the end, but we have a vote on the Senate floor that they're going to close in about 3 minutes. I want to thank you for appearing before this committee. You have been accessible to the members and staff on both sides of the aisle of the Finance Committee throughout a rigorous process, and I want the whole world to know that you spent hours in meetings answering questions outside of this hearing and providing documents and responses on issue after issue after issue. You've gone through the most thorough vetting process that any committee in this Congress puts anybody through. And I think that you have come through well and deserve to be confirmed. I would like to remind my colleagues that the deadline for submitting any questions for the record is 5 p.m. today, 5 p.m. today. And Mr. Kennedy, we ask that you respond to those questions as quickly as you possibly can. With that, I'm going to leave you in this room and run over to vote. This hearing will be adjourned. I still encourage the audience to be polite and respectful no matter what side of the issues you may be on. And Mr. Kennedy, I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're adjourned.
Again, you hear all the applause of folks who have filled the audience that are fans of RFK Jr. Again, to offer something of a permission structure for any senators who might be on the fence to think, okay, he has a lot of support, the hearing went really well, let's go ahead and vote to confirm him, we can put our fears aside. I want to draw your attention to...
If you missed any of today's confirmation hearing for HHS Secretary nominee
draw your attention to a moment in an interview that I had with him where I pressed him on this exact issue of the measles outbreak in Samoa and his culpability in this whole event. I want to play that footage now. I do want to talk about one instance in Samoa. In 2018, there were 2 children who died from a measles vaccine. That was after a nurse incorrectly mixed the vaccine with a muscle relaxant, so it was human error. The Prime Minister then banned MMR vaccines. After that, your organization, Children's Health Defense, praised him. You then visited in 2019 in a trip that was arranged by an anti-vax influencer named Edwin Tomasese. You met with another anti-vax influencer named Taylor Winterstein. So anti-vax sentiment spread across the island, and later that year, Samoa was hit with a measles outbreak that was the express result of a decline in vaccination rates. I believe only 31% of Samoans were vaccinated at that time. In the year leading up to 2019, there were 0 cases of measles in those years. In 2019 proper, though, there were over 5,000 cases and 83 deaths. So do you recognize how perpetuating vaccine skepticism or especially propping up anti-vax influencers can lead to such devastating health consequences? So basically, the exact same question that Elizabeth Warren asked, and here's his answer.
No, the best evidence, first of all, I had nothing to do with the drop-off in vaccination rates in Samoa.
Well, the AP did an interview.
Let me just...
Sure. Let me just say the AP did interview folks who were working on the Samoan measles response, and they said that the credibility that you gave to the anti-vax population, the anti-vax forces, did have an impact. So he said the same thing here as he did in his confirmation hearing, that he had nothing to do with it. I think in his confirmation hearing he said you'd be hard-pressed you won't be able to find a single Samoan who says that he or she wasn't vaccinated because of what RFK Jr. says. But right here, the AP does say people who worked on the Samoan measles response told the AP that the credibility he gave to the anti-vax forces he met with had an impact on the island. And of course, he goes on.
Well,
those were people who were in Samoa.
But there's plenty of data on the drop-off. The vaccine was banned before I went to the country. So the drop-off that you saw did not change between the time I left the country and the time the measles epidemic. So that's one thing. The other thing is that the deaths that occurred, the best evidence shows that the deaths that occurred from measles that year were a result of a defective vaccination.
So he's going to say, or he says here, that the deaths were the result of a defective vaccination. That's not true, and I think I brought that up. The evidence says that it was actually 2 vaccines that were mixed with an expired muscle relaxant.
You know what? No, again, that is propaganda.
That's propaganda. Whenever he encounters any fact that's inconvenient for him, oh, that's just propaganda. That's propaganda. That's propaganda. And so he failed to adequately answer the question here. He failed to answer the exact same question when Elizabeth Warren posed it in the Senate confirmation hearing today. I do want to bring your attention to another moment during my interview with RFK that relates to one of the questions that he was asked. I believe it was one of the very last questions. Do me a favor, remind me who spoke about abortion at the very end. Remind me who spoke about abortion at the very end, because that's going to I can't remember who it was. It was somebody who got extra time at the very end. Sheldon Whitehouse, was it? Yes. Okay. So yes, exactly. And he's been crushing it too. So here's a moment that we had where I brought that exact issue to him because he loves to perpetuate this idea now that he's trying to kowtow to Trump, to get into Trump's good graces after a lifetime of bolstering his pro-choice bona fides. Now he loves to pretend or lend credence to this idea that he's suddenly pro-choice. So here's this moment. There are a huge amount of abortions. When you say that there are a huge amount of abortions that would necessitate some federal intervention, where is the proof of that?
Well, I would have to look at the data again, and which I'm happy to do. But the data that we were shown was that there were a large number of abortions that were elective in the end, at the end of pregnancy. So if there are any abortions at that point, it's wrong. It's a viable child at 9 months, and let's say 9 months and 1 day. Should you be able to abort? I mean, do you think you should be able to abort a perfectly healthy child at 9 months?
But there's no evidence that women are doing that. That's the whole basis for what I'm asking. When you impose federal interventions against women who the data show are dealing with fetal anomalies, health risks to the mother, then I shouldn't be litigating that. No government bureaucrat should be litigating that. That's a decision between a woman and her doctor because these issues are highly personal. So again, same deal. Sheldon Whitehouse pointed out the fact that when in the rare instances that there are late-term abortions, and by the way, this is to say nothing of this Republican talking point that post-birth abortions are happening, give me a break. But in the instances that there are late-term abortions, like Republicans love perpetuating this idea that liberals, that like blue-haired liberals are going in and aborting their babies in the 9th month just because why the hell not? That is not what's happening. There is no evidence to suggest that is what's happening at all. And so he asks me in this question, would you support abortions in the 9th month? It's not about whether I support them because women should be because women are doing them haphazardly. It's because they are posing health risks to the mother. That is what all the evidence shows. And when I asked him if he had evidence to support his claim of the contrary, he wasn't able to bring anything up. And I actually did have another debate with Sage Steele where she brought up this point as well. Here's that moment.
The only issue that you guys are focusing on, abortion, women's rights. Have things changed? Yes, but there are plenty of states that have zero restrictions where you can do it up to the moment the baby's born, and I guess you're okay with that.
Which cases have we seen abortions happen after the baby's born? Because you just said that, so I'm curious where that's happened.
It happened for sure in Colorado. I believe it also happened in Minnesota. I'll be glad to, you know what, I'm sure Piers can connect us.
I mean,
Excuse me. I'm sure Piers can connect us. I'm sure Piers can. There were babies left on the table
You're just saying you're sure it's happening in Colorado. Give us the proof. There are a lot of viewers. We'd love to know where babies are being executed after they're born. We would love to know where babies are being executed after they're born in Colorado. Let us all know.
I just told you, and I don't know how you define executed, but left to die. That has absolutely happened before, and it is something I talked about with RFK Jr. on my podcast several months ago when it was late-term abortion, all that whole debate.
Isn't it interesting that other people who promote disinformation as it relates to abortion are also getting their information from RFK Jr.? Like, how telling was that last few seconds of this exchange?
Months ago, when it was RFK Jr. on my podcast, left to die. That has absolutely happened before, and it is something I talked about with RFK Jr. on my podcast several months ago when it was late-term abortion, all that whole debate.
So don't doubt the effectiveness of RFK Jr. basically perpetuating vaccine disinformation everywhere he can. He's talking to these right-wing influencers in very much the same way that he was talking to these Samoan anti-vax influencers. And look at the impact that it has on Sage Steele, who has a big platform here. If you don't think that if he's able to manipulate somebody like Sage Steele, who has a platform in the U.S., that if he's able to manipulate her, that he's not going to be able to do the same thing with the anti-vax forces over in Samoa, which again has shown has borne itself out as a huge purveyor of the reason that people didn't get vaccinated there, then you're kidding yourself. That is what he is there to do. And so I was glad to see Sheldon Whitehouse make that point. I think it was an important point to make. And it was one of, I think, a lot of really bad moments for RFK Jr. in this hearing more broadly. He lied a number of times, for example, where, let's see, he said that he was quoting an NIH, this was a question from Senator Bennett, he was quoting an NIH study that said that Jews and Chinese people, let's see, let me get the exact quote. COVID-19 was a genetically engineered bioweapon that targets black and white people but spared Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people. His response was, I didn't say it was deliberately targeted. I was just quoting an NIH published study. I should note that that is not what the NIH published study shows. The study didn't state those conclusions, and it doesn't even mention Chinese people. So that is him lying on the stand here when he claims that he was quoting a study that says nothing about Chinese people by throwing in this idea, this mistaken notion that Chinese people were excluded from the deliberate targeting of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's see what else. There was also a moment that was especially damning where Senator Warnock asked if he'd compared the CDC to Nazi death camps, which of course RFK denied, only for Senator Warnock to go ahead and read out the receipts to his face. But I think the most damning part of this, and this is the part that I started with, is the fact that RFK was willing, after a lifetime of advocating for his pro-choice values, after a lifetime of bolstering his pro-choice bona fides, for him to suddenly flip-flop on this issue and claim that he is this avowed supporter of life, all to curry favor with Donald Trump, goes to show that it doesn't really even matter what his positions are as it relates to abortion or mifepristone and the availability of that drug, which is the abortion medication, or really any of these issues, because at the end of the day, he's there not because his positions make him qualified for this role, but because he's compliant enough with what Donald Trump wants him to do that Trump views him as qualified for the role. Trump's not looking for somebody who's competent. He's looking for someone who's malleable. He's looking for somebody who's obsequious, and that's what he sees in RFK Jr. RFK's flip-flop on the issue of
the big advantage to going to the gym
that
is that because it's literally blizzarding outside, maybe there won't be as many people at the gym.
Are firmly held enough to supersede the most important part of all of this, which is that if Trump says jump, he'll say how high. He's there to serve as an extension of Donald Trump, just like everybody who he's appointed to his cabinet are going to be. That's why, all of these people who might have said one thing a year ago or 2 years ago will do an immediate about face, because the whole point of this role is to show fealty to the God King. That's it. Like, again, these people are not there. Pete Hegseth is not there because he's uniquely qualified to run the Pentagon, the biggest military in the entire world, the biggest agency in the entire world.
First one of this. Ah.
I need more time.
I don't like that. I literally can't see anything right now. Like, what is this?
I have no space for that.
I must travel light.
How can I?
Keep your eyes sharp. Welcome. Take your time. It's a deal. Don't drink the water. What do you need?
Two chance shards, Jesus.
Bye-bye.
Like, okay. So the question is do I... If I go Regal Orb on all of these. Okay, and I didn't get thing. Okay, so now I go over to my reforging bench. And I go boom, boom, boom. I can retry. Okay, now it's fully unidentified. Okay.
What have you?
Then I identify it, and I get energy shield, increased energy shield, the largest regeneration per second. Actually, that's not even bad. Just the increased movement speed is really good. is kind of the biggest problem. So this would go here. It's just like I can't take the just flat 10% reduced. I need to counter it with this. And this is okay. It's just the problem is it's level 5. Like it's like, well, okay. The level doesn't really matter, but it's all T1, tier 1 increases, and they're all low rolls. Whereas this is a tier 1, a tier 4, a tier 5, a tier 3. But maybe I just take the movement debuff. And like theoretically I just reroll these. Like if I get a third. Oh, not this. I don't know about this. If I go this. It's level 49. Should call this rerolls. This is not a reroll. This is just like probably good gear. 16% increased range, but that's well, we don't even know. It's the base item, so I just want to keep that. Augmented damage to attacks, like that's just a good item. This, another good base item. And this is also just like a good base item. Firestorm seems good. Oh, Comet. Oh, there it is. Oh, Ball Lightning. Oh my god. Okay, well, I think we get Ball Lightning first. Because I can jump to it with Lightning Orb. And I can substitute Orb of Storm into that. Oh. Probably this. Ricochet, maybe. I think I should switch it to R though. Okay. Does it disappear by hitting somebody? Is kind of the next question. Fuck! Okay, it already goes through people. But it does hit walls and stop. Long recording. Oh, suck my dick. Okay, well, fuck me, I guess. What did I do with the 100% shock chance? Oh, here. Found it. Yeah, that's better because it enables mana eminence immediately.
Take your time. I like it. Don't drink the water. What do you need? Bye-bye.
think this is better because I can do R and then this. Can I do multiple or is it just one? If I, oh yeah, I can. Oh. Yeah, okay, lightning ball is so much better. Comet might be good too, I just don't know what to attach on. There's a chance that I get rid of Frost Nova and do Comet, because Comet can do insane damage, but at the same time, like, that's not really my focus on damage. But if it freezes things, then maybe. Like, Frost Novas might get away, but at the same time, now I have this, which I could just spam this a bunch, and then that's like my getaway, right? Like, I just do. Right? It's not as guaranteed as this, right? But at the same time, Frost Wall is also kind of a getaway. I just do this. I just spam this around me. Then TP up. But it's slightly less reliable too, I guess. Yeah, like that's crazy. Yeah, so Comet can be pretty insane. It's 216. Okay, I'm gonna finish this dungeon and then I'm probably gonna skibbity because I need to mentally prepare myself to go to the gym because it's an actual fucking storm outside. Hardest leg day. I like leg day, but the first thought that ran through my mind is driving in the snow with fucked legs, but it's okay. Somebody got beaten their Shmito. Oh, it's him. Okay, I'm gonna look through the rest because that's the boss. Although I don't think there's much left. Yeah, that's just gonna be a continuation of the same wall. That's the same thing. I want to figure out what's going on over here, but I guess I can't. Okay, boss time. Bonk. Bro was bonking so hard, dude. What do they even do? I don't know. Let's fight. Let's fight this bitch. Ow. I took like no damage. They said. He's literally molten on fire and he's frozen. That's not good. I'm slowed. Oh shit.
I'm carrying enough already.
You're so right. You are carrying enough already. That was pretty nice. Dude, every time I fight a boss, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking back to my minion build, and I'm like, this is so much better. Such a better build. Sorry, minions. I mean, I'm sure I could have. Like, I feel like the minion build goes like off later. I mean, it's almost like you could see you Crips minion builds. And you know, I was trying to, like, I was taking hints from that too. Obviously, almost to nearly identical to those, I guess. Basically, going because you know, it's probably a good thing to follow on for builds. But you know, at the end of the day, I just, you know, I don't know. Okay, that needs to get deconstructed, and that maybe too. Yeah, I might just. I know it's the same boots, but increase energy shield rate, energy. Well, this one for sure. This one for sure.
Need a guide? Anything catch? I'll take it.
Shit. Oh no, I got rid of the thing that had quality. I'm an idiot.
Keep your eyes sharp.
I don't know if I can reroll with these boots. Would be like the question. Like those are all different boots. Can it just be boots, or does it have to be like the same boots? Not sure. That I don't know. So this is what I don't understand. If I go back here, and I presume that this is drained, if I go to one of these checkpoints, what happens? Like, is that drained now? Oh, I can't move forward. Okay. That all solidified. So if I go here, and then I go... So I'm gonna check this out before I go. Molten volts. Volts? I'm pretty sure that's the guy I just killed, but I just have his quest item, I think is the meme. But if I do this, and then I come to... It's like these things take the crystals now. No idea. I don't know if these are just meant to be of use or not, but I don't know. Okay. Okie dokie. This is gonna be all for the stream for today. Thanks for tuning in if you did. If you didn't, that's okay. If you like it, please like. If you subscribe, please subscribe. Follow for follow. Yeah.